To infinity and beyond. No, that was the other one. Which one am I thinking of? I'm thinking of To Go Boldly Where No Man Has Gone Before, because it is the 50th anniversary of the original Star Trek series, and the toy maker, the franchise owner CBS, have teamed up with Mattel to make a trio of figurines that capture the look of the show's original stars. With Kirk, Spock and the Uhura dolls, who's going to want to play with those today? Or are these actually for the dads who want to go back to the past? Mattel, you'll know them as the guys who make Barbie, Fisher Price and other toys. They're also launching an office in South Africa, so there's lots to talk about. This is the Moneymakers. I'm Bruce Whitfield, tonight talking to David Allmark, Managing Director for Mattel's Europe, Russia, Middle East and Africa region, joining me in studio for a chat about the move to South Africa, the future of play, and why brands like Mattel are coming to South Africa despite the fact that we're in economic doldrums. David Allmark, kids will be kids forever, but to make a Captain Kirk that looks a lot like the guy who does insurance ads on TV 30 kilograms ago is quite a big step. Is this for collectors?
Yes, it's both for collectors, Bruce, and also as these franchises become more available and widely known through children, we see children buying into those types of properties as well.
Toys today, I mean, anybody who goes around, anybody with small kids who goes into toy shops today, there is the inevitable connection between the franchise, between the series and the toys. Have we lost our sense of magic and imagination, do you think, as far as toys are concerned?
Oh, I don't think so at all. Mattel is the worldwide leader in play, and we are a creations company, and we spend thousands of millions of dollars every year creating new toys. So sure that there are films that do generate toy sales on the back of characters that are familiar within those movies, but we spend a lot of time, particularly on things like Barbie and Fisher Price and Hot Wheels, developing new ideas, new creativity and new innovation every year. It's a big industry.
Barbie, massively controversial, created of course in the 19. How old is she now? She's nearly 60, isn't she? Or is she over 60? She doesn't look a day older than she was the first day she was made. But you've been forced to sort of catch up, I suppose, in the 21st century with women's body images and with the fact that Barbie doesn't look like Barbie anymore.
Yeah, as the company has become more global and we've opened more offices, and South Africa is a great example of that, the diversity that we need to represent within that brand, because it does represent a day-to-day fantasy life for a child, we've looked at opportunities to develop that, and so we now have Barbie with different shapes, different skin tone color, different hairstyle, really to adapt for the global market in which we operate these days.
It's extraordinary that Barbie has only come under real pressure in the last couple of years to transform, isn't it? I mean, Barbie has been a fairly standard product over generations.
Yeah, she's always represented fashion, and she's always represented the tone and lifestyle of people, to be honest with you, from the day that she was invented by Ruth Handler for her daughter Barbara. So she's always been very much at the focus, and I think that what we're seeing these days is more of a movement to represent cultures and diversity in the range. So it was a natural step for the organisation to do that, and so far the reaction has been quite sensational from that.
And what sort of boost have you seen in sales in terms of new Barbie versus tall, skinny, pale Barbie?
Yeah, well, the new Barbie, along with the traditional one as well, is obviously at retail. We're just launching that from our region. So literally in the last few weeks, product is going into marketplace. And I'm sure it will be very successful. But also the traditional one will be as well, because, you know, she does represent that kind of lifestyle and a dream house and Hollywood and, you know, kind of Los Angeles. So I'm sure that the flavors, probably in different places, will sell at different rates. But generally speaking, it will be very good for the brand.
What is the research telling you it will do for the brand to have diversity Barbie?
Yeah, it says that it's for the moment, and it says that the consumers are asking for that, and so, you know, kind of obviously we respond. We spend a lot of money researching everything that we do as an organisation, and it was very clear that the moment and the mood was that we needed more diversity within that brand, both from mothers saying that, which we do research there, but also kids as well, to reflect their day-to-day and their cultural lifestyles.
When it comes to, I mean, I've tried for years to break Fisher Price stuff. I'm delighted that I still can't, even though I do put my very best effort into it. Are you manufacturing mostly out of China nowadays? Where is Mattel's manufacturing base?
Yes, we have places in China, our own factories that are there, but also in Malaysia and also in South America as well. Again, catering for a global stage in which we do as an organization. We have different plants around the world, and we obviously use vendor partners to help us source product as well. So again, it's very much a global operation in the way that we kind of manufacture and also distribute locally. But we obviously spend a lot of money in each marketplace, usually diversifying the marketing message and bringing product to life at retail and working with the retail partners locally to help them develop their sales and those of the industry as well.
What's the thinking then of setting up an office in Johannesburg in terms of a distribution hub for the African continent?
Yeah, we see it as a great opportunity. We have operated through a wholesaler in the past 10 to 15 years, but we felt the time was right to come in and actually start to develop the office and the country ourselves. It allows us to do more stronger local marketing, both trade and retail marketing with the customers on a B2B sense, but also widen our range of product available for the consumer within South Africa. And even though, you know, every economy goes through a little bit of ups and downs on the kind of macroeconomics, the toy industry is such a thriving business, and we're obviously here for the long term. And we believe that today marks a really great opportunity to develop both in South Africa, but also in the future as we expand into the North African region as well.
What wasn't working about the wholesale relationship that you had before that has necessitated the decision to actually take control of the brand, if you like, yourselves in this country?
Yeah, Bruce, you make a good point. It is really about managing the overall brand, because it's not just toy products that we do. So Thomas the Tank is another Mattel property that we license out merchandise to other people to manufacture. And so there's a whole network and expanded distribution footprint that extends through our brands. So how we market that in a country, when we have a direct office, that allows us to have a stronger retail relationship from a Mattel to retailer partnership, but also it allows us to do stronger marketing in a country that helps develop both our sales but also that of the industry as well.
When Mattel bought Thomas, of course, it became Thomas the Yank Engine as opposed to Thomas the Tank Engine. For many people who've grown up with Thomas the Tank Engine, the stories of, was it Reverend? The Reverend who wrote the original story was Audrey, right, wasn't he?
That's right. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, you have it.
We got the sense that it was going to become a lot more American. There is a tone that Thomas has become a little less Sodor and a bit more, I don't know, international.
Well, I think that he relates to children all around the world, quite honestly. So I don't think there was ever a danger of it being, diverted into any specific culture. At the end of the day, he's a little boy in the form of an engine, and he, kind of goes through life's stories and gets himself into a little bit of trouble, and then his friends help him get out of it. So that kind of storytelling is consistent around the world. And again, we've tried to make sure that we did not in any way change the essence of that brand, which, as you correctly say, the Reverend Audrey was the original creator of that back in the 1940s. And the principle of storytelling, the principle of a character going through life's learnings and being represented and the support of friends is something that we've really kept the heart at. We've added new variety to it. We've added a new pace to the show, which was also kind of important to extend its reach into other markets, but principally the essence of the brand is exactly the same.
I mean, will you transform Thomas in the same way, for example, as Barbie has been transformed? I can't imagine that the Reverend Audrey English countryside setting, quite parochial of the 1940s, is going to be as applicable in certain communities in South Africa. Certainly if you go to Nigeria and Kenya, there may be small communities of people there who may appreciate the quaintness of it, but do the stories translate as effectively as they could were Thomas to have, a different kind of character?
Yeah, they really do translate, to be honest with you, Bruce. It's less about the look than it is about the storytelling and the friendship that he bestows in the way that the product range is developed, and also the storytelling. But what we do is that we do bring new characters into the show to represent a local community as well. So I'm sure that over the years ahead we'll do that from a South Africa point of view. So there's usually a dedicated engine that Thomas explores, and so we then put storytelling out both through publishing, but also kind of DVDs or the TV series as well. Or these days, obviously, the internet and through digital communication is a significant way to extend the reach of the storytelling to the children.
In emerging markets, in the sort of economy that you're going into in South Africa, we're setting up a representative office for the first time. How much do you expect to grow faster than the South African economy? Parents will sacrifice toys for themselves, but will inevitably spend a bit of money on their kids when times are tough. Can you expect to outperform a sluggish South African economy?
Yes, we do expect to do that, Bruce. Certainly coming in at a fairly nascent stage of the development allows us to grow ahead of the market and kind of grow ahead of the more macro economic situation. That is normal from the beginning. We're not arrogant about that. We know that it will require some investment. We know that it will require a dedication to make sure that we're expanding our business-to-business relationship with the retailers. The retail footprint in South Africa is very well developed, as you know, so that does give us an opportunity and a nice springboard to be able to help develop our business. But it will be done with both the consumer, very importantly, in mind, and also the retailers as well. It'll definitely help their business.
David Allmark, thank you very much. Managing Director for Mattel's Europe, Russia, Middle East and Africa region, setting up office in Johannesburg, but also taking globally recognized iconic toys and transforming them into local markets. Fascinating stories indeed. More playtime next time on the Moneymakers. Till then, bye-bye.